Sorry. Welcome and hello and hello and welcome and welcome and hello and hello and welcome. Seeing all of my faux office complex here. It's looking a little bit ridiculous, but anyway, guys, it's a mess. I've had a busy week. I have been sick. I have been tired. I have been sick and tired. I have been low down, busted. I don't know what these old country songs are doing for you, but anyway, guys, welcome and hello and welcome. It's Un Poco Moss. I'm going to do a quick video because I have a pretend meeting coming up with some nonsense people. But I wanted to talk Nio. Ticker symbol is NIO. This has gone down. This has kind of been walked up and down. If you take a look at the chart, it's like, this is what I call the little dog with short legs, little foam ladder they make to get up on the mattress pattern. I mean, I don't know what you want to say. People talk about algos being in control of the stock, market makers being on a stock, but I don't know if I've ever seen two stocks more than SoFi and Nio that are sort of smallish companies. Not particularly disruptive, hadn't even been making a profit. Nio is disruptive in its own way. SoFi is a lot more conventional, but it just seemed like market makers, shorts, took a weird, unhealthy interest in these companies, and they ran them. They ran the price action to an unusual degree. Usually, if it's just a short seller, the stock will go up to an irrational level, what they believe is an irrational level. They'll sell the stock short and they'll just hold the position and they'll just wait for it to come down. But it's another thing for mechanics to be literally fixing the price on a daily basis, a minute by minute basis, with high frequency trading. And that's what you see in the Nio stock. I mean, look at this trading. Look at the pattern. Look at how they control the volume. I mean, just for instance, so it's at 68, it spikes to 112, the next day back down to 66, and then it's just walked down steadily. These are not people deciding to sell the stock that, last month the stock sold 20,000 cars, or the company sold 20,000 cars and was rolling out Envo and was bringing out Firefly and was building swap stations, and the stock was worth $7.50, and then a couple of weeks later the stock is worth $5. It's just what you have to understand to beat the market, guys. If you're going to trade, you're going to do options, whatever it is. If you're just long term, just buy DCA down. It's easy. You don't even really have to think about it. It's so dumb, even old Danny Cornbread DiCarlo can do it. Forget about it, caveman. Old Cornbread, he's feeling dry and mealy today. Oh, nothing little honey butter can't take care of. I tell you, even if you make bad cornbread, little honey butter can cure what ails you. Cover up for a lot of sins. Anyway, welcome and hello and welcome, guys. So if you get into the chart, this is why I say in my description, it's of course it just had a golden cross, but it's unusual because it's a golden cross into descending price action. Basically the stock fell so far so fast, and it had this big run here, which has since been, it basically came in two waves. It went from 4 to 540, and then it went all the way up to 720 and even higher, 750 on the that one pump. But it was basically more like here at $7 where it kind of petered out, and then there's just a couple of pumps. It's like that Key and Peele sketch where they're in the whether they should penalize the receiver for celebrating in the end zone. He's allowed 2 hip thrusts, but the referee is like staring at his crotch, and on that third hip thrust he throws the flag. Key and Peele had some funny sketches, but basically this thing is holding on to this line, and this line has been really important, and that's why I say the algo's running the stock. They pump it right to this line. The slope here is just extremely controlled. It's been walked down from sort of a low where it descended here to 10, all the way down below 4. And all the while, the company is making very positive forward progress. I mean, people want to make a lot of the fact that they just you know, the Nio deliveries in the brand proper dropped from 21,000, 22,000, whatever it's been, down to 17, 16, 17,000, and Onvo sort of made up that difference, 4 or 5,000 cars. That is not a bad thing. Do people understand logistically how difficult it is to launch a whole new car brand, whole new dealer network, whole new service network, retrofit Gen 3 swap stations to work with this new, you know, lower capacity battery standard that takes place in Onvo? And all the while doing that, you don't even miss deliveries should fall. You have to retool. They're sharing the two factories right now. And if you listen to the comments, basically they planned production of Onvo based on the you know, the schedule that their suppliers gave them down the supply chain and said, this is what you should plan for. So they're not promising, you know, too many vehicles all at once. Nio's planning is really right on point. And if you take a look at this graph, guys, it's pretty clear. It's a very tightly controlled set of data through here all the way to here. Then you start to get, you know, a wide variance. Sorry, guys, want to mute my, I don't know if some commercial or something was playing in the background. I have to apologize if it was. That's cool, the Jimmer. Yeah, it's good. But anyway, so if you look at this graph, then you start to see this, like, you know, wide degree of variance in the data. And right now, what you've seen for the first time in a while is with 6 data points, 6 months, this is pulled back to being very, very consistent. And it's at the all-time high range of their manufacturing. So what I describe this as, think about it as a stock. It doesn't just go up in a line. It kind of levels up and then it plateaus, levels up, plateaus, comes down a bit, retraces, plateaus. And what you're at now is the stock is, you know, the stock, I say, but the manufacturing capacity is forming that base at an all-time high where they're getting a consistent. Now, think about the run rate, guys. 21,000 cars, that's a run rate of 250,000 cars a year. So I know they're not going to make 250,000 cars, obviously, this year because they had some very, very low months. You know, January, February, March, these were all very, very slow up until, you know, you get into May. And then they consistently sort of hit their stride, got their shit together. And that's kind of where we are today. And, you know, trending a little bit up. But the good news is Onvo launch is on target. They're already in 60 cities with their dealer network. They have 581 battery swap stations live that are usable for Onvo. I know that doesn't sound like a lot with their network of 2,600 some odd stations. It's only, you know, just under 25%. But think about what other, you know, companies offer, which is 0 swaps. And Nio Onvo cars can still be charged conventionally at Nio chargers, which they have one of the biggest networks, you know, and often next to Nio battery swaps are Nio battery charging piles. Not always, but sometimes. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello, hello and welcome, welcome and hello, hello and welcome, good morning, welcome and hello, greetings, salutations and welcome and hello, guys. It's Un, Poco, Moss. Kind of my play here is they destroy this thing down to $5. The algo destroys it, and then no, don't you fucking like and subscribe, don't you dare. Why is not a lurker? I don't have any tap water. I have a little bit of a bottle of water, and then I'm done. Then I'm fucking done. Let's see. So guys, look at the graph. I mean, look at the chart. I'm sorry. It's not a graph. You see a little base here in the 525 area. Now it's kind of fallen down on the tails to 5, which is fine. But if you see this algo that it's been trading on descending, it does actually catch support there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. Tries to get back to 6, does get back to 6, where it tried to kind of form a little bit of some weird shoulder there. The algo is on this thing. I mean, look at the volume indicators on the daily. Almost no variance. Why does the algo run this stock? Why does the algo short this stock? Why does the algo borrow against this stock absolutely constantly? I don't know why. Ortex seemed to have frozen on me, but trust me when I say yesterday they borrowed 10 million shares net. Today, last I looked, it was like 9 million shares. Pardon me, excuse me. So they borrowed 20 million shares in the last couple of days. The short interest has gone up to over 14% of the free float. Now you say, okay, of course, they're just shorting all the Chinese EV stocks because they're all going to go out of business. Not so. Xpeng, they're shorting at like 6%. Li is 5%. So they're shorting Nio between 2 and 3 times the rate of similar companies. Say, well, maybe that's because Li makes money. I would argue not so, because I don't think there's any real danger of Nio going out of business. Now, there's probably more danger of dilution because they're not making money. That's the truth. And there will be more dilution. We all know that. But the fact is, Li has no USP. They have no unique selling point. How their vehicle, their hybrids are popular right now. They're at a good price point. It's a good looking car. People like it. They're moving some units. But what's their USP at the end of the day? How do they grow and compete and, be unique versus, say, a BYD or Geely or any of these other, mega companies, even like Zeekr? How do these other smaller players besides Nio distinguish themselves and survive long term? Nio found their niche. They created their moat themselves, and that's the battery swap network. I mean, if you look at what CATL is saying publicly, they're saying battery swap is the future, at least a big part of the future. That's why they're going to aggressively build out their own battery swap network. They're saying 10,000 swaps by 2030, and they certainly have the muscle to do it. But I don't think that means they're going to mothball Nio. I don't think that means that at all. I don't think the Chinese state is going to do that. They're making deals with foreign governments. They're building factories that cost billions of dollars. It just doesn't make sense. This does not make sense. Fat boy on a diet. Don't try it. Gonna fuck you up like a looter in a riot. Guys, that means lunchtime. I'm hungry. What's up, Matt Flo? What's up, Jay Gatsby? How you doing, barbecue? You're making me hungry even more. Thank you so much. I think you were talking to Jay Gatsby about the magnificent beard. I don't blame you. I like New. I really do like New. They have good management there. Very innovative, very aggressive, really dialed in with what people want. It's a good company. I mean, if you want good New coverage, check out Tanner. He covers the hell out of the stock. That's where I found out about it. I know it's also a Warren Buffett stock. Chinese market. What's up, Gaizula? How you doing today? What's up, Clap My Dog? Good to see you. The Jimmer. Key and Peel. We talked. Kramer 90. Hello, welcome. What's up, Alberto? Swinging a big wrench as usual. What's barbecue? Graham Colestock. P.S. Monocle selling well. Thank you for endorsing my idiotic bit, Graham. I appreciate it. I live in my own little world. What can you do? I've been a Nio for 4 years, buying 30s, 40s, man, to average down to 9. Yeah, I mean, if you're buying up there, you've done quite well to average down to 9. I know I was chasing some shares as high as the 30s. I sold some at the highs, so it's not a stock I've made a lot of money on. It's not a stock I've lost a lot of money on. I also averaged down aggressively when it was down there in like the 3s and the low 4s. So, but overall, I mean, I'm not making money on this stock. That's for sure. I think very few people are here at $5. It's like maybe if you were in at the very, very, very beginning, or you just, bought your whole position at the lows, or you bought your whole position at Home Depot if you don't like Lowe's. Ha! Little home improvement big box store humor for you on a Friday. Just what you needed, right? Graham, you're going to be fine in the 9s if you just hold the stock. I mean, in my opinion, but it's easy to lose patience to get out. Pumping up on earnings. So I mean, earnings is not going to be great. They're losing a lot of money, Carl. That's true. But what you're going to be looking for is guidance, deliveries. You're going to be especially looking for vehicle margins, if those are improving, the gross margins. So there's a lot of things to look for, but you know, you're right. Earnings could be a bloodbath if the shorts just want to turn on it. But here's the thing with shorting, guys. Here's the thing with charts. I mean, how much more meat is left on the bone on this algo line? I mean, so they could take it all the way back down to here, which is kind of the base of late. Came down there a lot of different days, didn't want to break below that 1370 area. So that's a big drop from here. It's a huge drop from here. That's like what, another almost 30%? They could do it. I mean, if you have enough money, you can move a stock. And there's so many retail investors in the stock, so few institutions, that it's pretty easy to move things around. But I think the market makers have to know that a lot of us, if they push the stock back to 370 and they continue to do well, Onvo is well received, the swap network continues to be built out, that continues to be embraced by not only the government in China, but the different governments in the Middle East that I think are, sort of states that do a lot of business with the Chinese government, and they want Nio to succeed. The Chinese government wants Nio to succeed. I don't think they want, one or two companies in control of everything. It's just not good for business. You need redundancy. I think you need competition in the battery swap network. And, a point I'll make, not only does, let me just take this offline for a second so I can try to reboot this and log in, just see what I can do. Just want to give you guys a live short interest. There she blows. Let's see. Oh, I gotta add. So there we go. So live short interest today, guys. 12 million net borrowing on Nio today. Yesterday, 10.6 million net borrowing. So last 2 days, borrowing almost 23 million shares. Cost to borrow average still stays down near nothing, because it's the same market makers that are shorting that are going to go long. So a couple points there. It benefits everyone who are market makers, who are not impatient retail investors who, equate transient stock levels with the size of their willy and their self-esteem, because they're children. They don't know how this game goes. It doesn't bother market makers to push the stock back down to 4. They sleep fine if they know that it's going to go back up to 15 next year. They're just fine with that. They're fine with you pulling your hair out, pacing around, chain smoking Marlboro lights, and then dumping all your shares at 372. Like the weak piker, paper-handed Delta Bravo that you are. Don't do it. Don't do that. Don't sell the dip and smell the rip, guys. That's what they want. Don't sell the dip and smell the rip. But so why do eventual market maker longs like the stock low? Obviously, they can accumulate at very low prices after the risk is largely gone. Those of us that bought in, went through the whole pump and dump, went through all these growing pains, low deliveries, lots of risk. Market makers don't like risk. They like to buy in after all the risk is gone and still get the risk on price. And they do that by bludgeoning stupid, weak retail investors with a club until they just can't breathe anymore. And they say, uncle, they wave the white flag, and they get out and they sell the dip. And that's how these guys operate. And the other thing is, of course, shorts need to cover low to make a profit. It's the same people. The call is coming from inside the house, guys. These are all the same people. Like, how do you think these banks like Goldman Sachs, these investment banks, how do you think they make money? All those billions of dollars. It's a zero-sum game. Where do you think that money comes from? It comes from Joe Sixpack. It comes from dentists. It comes from retail investors who buy options all the time. It comes from retail investors who buy high and sell low, sell the dip and smell the rip. That's where it comes from. The guys who trade, that's where that guy strongman is right. Most people should not be picking stocks because they're weak and incompetent. They just don't know how to do it. They don't understand that you have to take all emotion out and sort of act contrary to your instincts. Act contrary to your fears. You have to embrace and buy fear. You have to embrace fear. Fear is your friend. Fear is your friend. Greed is not your friend. Fear is your friend. Once you master fear and you just don't care about it, because it doesn't mean anything, why should you be afraid of the market makers taking Nio from 7 to 5 for no reason in a very short period of time? When the Chinese government is about to meet in a couple days and they could announce massive stimulus that'll send the stock right back up to 7. Who knows? Guys, one sec. I got to take this. I'll be right back with you. Okay, guys, welcome back. Hello and welcome back. I put a little honey in my voice for you if you like things sweet. No, guys, that's an old radio DJ joke from when I used to work the overnight shift at KPOS. That was our station. So we never replaced any equipment. Could only hear the station for about 100 yards. If you had one particular basement dorm, you may be able to hear our week AM broadcast. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello, and welcome and hello. So it's extremely unusual, but it makes complete sense. Options get a lot of premium with a lot of volatility. Good for market makers. Okay. Longs want to accumulate low. Good for market makers. Shorts want to cover low. Good for market makers. It's all bad for retail who can't be patient. Okay. I don't know what to tell you guys who are upset about dips. It's the same with SoFi. You're so upset when they push the stock down to 6. I'm like, why are we upset? Why are we yelling at Midwest values and the 5 head and the Chia Pet and others? Doesn't make any sense to me. Sorry guys, I got like 80 things happening on my phone all at once. Let's see. Oh God, Friday. Everybody wants to get paid. Nobody wants to wait. It's like, hey, can you wait till Monday? Can I just get you that check on Monday? Like, fuck you, you fat motherfucker. I'm like, okay, what if I pay you today? Yeah, okay, sounds good. Be over there in a few minutes. That's how that conversation always goes. Like, nobody likes to get paid on Monday. People want to get paid on Friday and go out and do a bunch of drinking, maybe go to Vegas, lose all their money. Trust me, they're not buying stock. These guys I'm working with. I don't know. Might be buying stock in like Anheuser-Busch, but that's about it. Scott Link, always great videos. Thanks for transmitting hope. No problem, Scott Link. I'm trying. It's a live turd show. You got that right, Billy Jack. We got Peter, double Peter. I am 850. Nice. Keep adding slowly. Drop the average. There you go. Well, if you're at 850 and you're adding here, you're not. God, I forgot I'm talking about Nio. I thought I was talking about SoFi. Jesus, I haven't slept. This is just getting ridiculous with the sleep, guys. I'm trying not to drink coffee. I'm trying my best. Figure I don't drink coffee and go to sleep. But anyway, getting completely confused. What else is new? As far as the analysts, pretty positive. Basically, everybody the last 7-8 ratings have come in with buys. Various levels from 650 to 8. So analysts have a pretty good amount on average, 25% upside on the stock. Doesn't really mean anything. I was looking, of course, at SoFi, some bearish article there. Is Nio finally waking up from its nightmare run? This is some technical analysis. I haven't read this. This is by Bay Area Ideas. I have no idea who this is. Near-term technicals are bright. It's hard to say, guys, but essentially, it's got to move up off this line, it seems to me. I mean, where's the weakness? The stock was trading so high when it was doing poorly. They just announced Firefly is, in fact, all electric. It's not going to be a hybrid, so that was a false rumor. So many false rumors around this stock. And I'm saying, why the obsession with this particular company? I mean, a lot of companies in the fintech space were being shorted even way more than SoFi, Upstart, and others. So it wasn't just with SoFi, but it's unusual with Nio because it's like a push and pull with the Chinese government. Who's going to, I mean, is the Chinese government just going to stop funding this and just mothball it all after putting in, untold billions and billions of dollars? Just doesn't seem logical to me. And it doesn't seem like, there's some other algos now accumulating on the other side that don't want to let it go back below this line. They're happy to accumulate along this line, just above this line. And then market makers pump, draw people back in here. Oh, it's running to the moon. And then just crush your hopes and dreams again, and all the turds sell down here. Oh, it's dead stock. Sell down here. Makes another run, rinse, repeat. Over and over and over. And that's a sure sign of accumulation. Look for those shark tooth patterns. The algos are running steep and steady increases, decreases. That's all about accumulation. It's all about washing people out, bringing new money in, highs and lows, rinse, repeat. That's what the algos do. They separate REIT herders from their money. Interesting proposition here, aggregate short volume. Just for no particular reason, the last few days, I mean, they've been transitioning or alternating, I should say, between 60 and then 40 and then 52 and then 38 and then 46 and 66. So it's swinging from real high to real low. A little while ago, it was more consistently 65, 61, 63, 56. So these lower days are where you're seeing heavy market maker accumulation. There are no retail sellers who have held this thing for years up through 60s, almost 70, and back down to 3. And now you think they're just getting scared and getting cold feet when the deliveries are actually ramping and margins are getting better. Retail's not dumping at 5, and I don't think many are even getting stopped out. I mean, I think market makers reach a point. It's like I said with SoFi, that they're going to flip it and leave the stupid slow shorts in the dust to die a slow death and just get destroyed. They're going to do the same thing with Nio. The hedge funds, the market makers, they're going to run this thing up. This company isn't going bankrupt, and it's not going to trade flat at 5. It can't, and there's not much room to go down. I mean, it could, but every bit of logic that I'm seeing, technical, fundamental, the margins, all the support from the government, meeting with foreign heads of state, going into MENA, CVYN buying McLaren's assets, just these different things. And then they have a deal to have, use Nio technology to develop a new EV thing. And I believe is Britain. There's just all these avenues. Nio's making deals with power company operators, battery reconditioning companies that monitor health of batteries, health of power grid. They can do things no one else can do. What are the future recurring revenue streams for these other companies like XPEV and Lee? Lee's desperate to build 1,000 charging piles. What is this, fucking amateur hour? This is an open mic? Yeah. Out of water. Next one's going through the window. Property manager be damned. No, so I don't know. I'm just a bitter, impatient Karen turd. But I don't see how this stock is an $11 billion stock. the stuff they're doing tells me that China is going to make them a power player worldwide, swap, vehicles, everything else. My other question is, how much sense would it make for a company like CATL to buy out Nio? I mean, if you want to get to 10,000 swaps, the fastest way to get there is to start with 3,000 already. And if you think, CATL couldn't adopt to the standard and build batteries that are incredible and innovate all sorts of different ways within that standard, because Nio owns the data on swap. The same way Tesla owns all the data on all those miles of full self-driving, nobody else has any data on swap, on how it affects battery health, on how people are swapping, on what those capacities are when they're turning in the batteries, on how that affects battery health, on how they can get people to swap more or less to be more efficient, how all the software works. Not only within the car itself, the battery, how the batteries are charged, but then how the entire network operates, how batteries are moved from one location to another, how they decide where to build swaps for maximum efficiency. These are things Nio has years of experience with, growing pains, with trial and error that no other company has. And that experience is not free, and it has a value. It has a really high value in my opinion. Instant I talk about this term that I kind of, it's not my term, but it's something I apply to different companies. It's like their institutional gravity, their weight, their gravitas. Nio is treated like this huge King Kong type player on the world stage. Why? Why is China pushing that? It's because of what Nio gives them, what it can do, which is control a battery standard. It's not just a swap standard. If you control the swap standard, you control the battery standard. You control the means of production. I don't know, guys. It's just a dreary day. It's OPEX. I mean, I would have to expect, there's just a ton of idiotic calls expiring today. I said, get out of those things early in the week. Sell the pop if you're going to be in these options. Yeah, so calls, $5 calls. Is this today? Yeah, $5 calls, actually not that many options. Everybody was at 550. So I don't know. They didn't really have that much incentive to hold the stock that low. There weren't that many calls, but there's plenty to kill, I guess. Plenty to kill. And then taking a look at puts. Yeah, the puts $5 and then 550. So yeah, this was just a max pain day, guys. It was just market makers killing everything. Kind of bears in charge right now. Shorts in charge, throwing a big wet blanket over everybody. Just a big wet blanket. What everybody needs for the weekend, a big stick in the eye. A nice, punch right in the wiener. Great way to start your weekend. Yep. Nothing like a nice punch in the junk on a Friday. Hello. Anyway, guys, with that, I'm probably going to sign off because I obviously am way, way, way out of material. Let's see if there's any other news on CNEV Post. BYD is selling the hell out of everything. Yeah, it's just a bunch of talk about the deliveries. Sodium battery maker, Nio ransom. Yeah, this is good news. Nio president says Firefly models remain purely electric. I know that hybrid vehicles are extremely popular in China right now, but I believe that's a transitionary period. And that's mostly based on range anxiety. And with the mature swap network, you almost completely take away range anxiety. So you take away the need for hybrid, you take away the need for gas stations, you take away the need for trucking gas, pollution, etc. Massive engineering complexity to make a gas engine fit in there. You don't need it. I think that's what Tesla got right. Obviously they're purely electric and they never look back. They're doing a semi, they're doing a pickup. It can all be electric. Range anxiety is not going to be around very long. It's a transitory thing. So I think Nio has the right idea. Eye on the prize, think long term, world leader in power, world leader in swap, part of the power grid, aligned with different governments. growing with other people's capital, growing with other people's real estate, growing based on gas stations, land. We need other cars on the battery swap alliance building vehicles sooner than later to make the economics of this swap expansion work. We need these things swapping 100 times a day, whatever it is. It can't be, 40 times a day. The math, they just have to dramatically increase the level of swaps per station to get us to a break-even point on the Nio power deal. That's the bottom line. Time will tell. I have a lot of confidence in management. I have a lot of confidence in their ability to bring partnerships online that are going to be fruitful for the company. I have a lot of confidence in their ability to think strategically, to think long-term, and I have a lot of confidence in their ability to execute. That's the most important thing. Anybody can make a pie in the sky plan. Anybody can dream of blue skies coming. Anybody can have an idea, but the fact is they have the resources. They have the people. They have the heavy hitters that I believe are being installed by different levels of the Chinese government to make this thing work. Everyone's pushing Nio. The stock price is so low, I just feel like the very powerful people are accumulating the shares and waiting for the, fat slobs like you and me to go ahead and sell at 5. Like all the market makers from all the countries, all the guys are like, did Danny sell yet? No, that fat bastard's still holding on. All right, we're not going to let it run up. As soon as I sell all my shares, they're going to let this thing run because the fucking man will never let me get ahead. Because they hate me. I was born under a bad sign. If it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have no luck at all. As the old song goes, want to thank Not a Lurker, want to thank Alberto Bertie Aviles, want to thank Jay Gadsby's beard, want to thank everybody. Oh, you're all so great. Just ask yourselves. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. I think this stock's absurdly undervalued, but it's also extremely risky. They're not making money yet, and they're not going to be for a little bit, probably at least another year and a half. So it's critical for earnings to look at the margins. They've had 20,000 units dialed in, but I think, to get to profitability, they need to be more like 75,000 units a month, something like that. So I think they can easily get there in a year, but it's going to require really, really strong execution. And it's going to require a management team that is absolutely relentless and just outworks the competition. We'll see if Nio is up to the task. Guys, it's un poco mas. Thank you, J Money. Thank you, Alberto. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I appreciate you guys and have a great weekend. Peace. I'm out.